Hello once again, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of AIW's The Card is Going to Change. Before we get into this week's episode, of course, a thanks to our sponsors that help us bring the show to you for free on whichever podcast platform you choose to listen. Thanks to Smokin' Jay's Barbecue. It is delicious. You can get it for takeout or delivery if you are in the Massillon, Ohio area. And, they do some catering too. So if you're having a big party or getting together with a group of people, maybe you're the kind of family that you're planning an outdoor wedding for the summertime. I know it's winter, but people got to plan these things ahead. Smokin' Jay's Barbecue is a great option to have there. Follow them on social media at smokin_Jays, Jays, BBQ. And check them out. Order the food from them. Thanks, of course, to SmartMark Video and IWTV. The merger of the two has made it so much easier to watch AIW, the easiest it's ever been. If you go to independentwrestling.tv, sign up, use the code ABSOLUTE to let them know that you were sent by us, and check out not just AIW, but so many other independent wrestling promotions as well, along with all sorts of other content that aren't necessarily wrestling promotions. There are interviews, so much to happen, so much that happens to be on IWTV. Check it all out. It's $9.99 a month. And of course, if you go to smartmarkvideo.com, if you're looking for the perfect gift this Christmas for the wrestling fan in your life, go to smartmarkvideo.com and you can purchase AIW on DVD. You can purchase MP4s as well. It's all right there. The perfect gift, of course, is we bring it up all the time. You can buy every single AIW DVD ever. Anytime an AIW show wants a DVD, it's all smartmarkvideo.com. Buy the complete set. It's
box
right
set,
there.
the box set.
Do you think they'll put if somebody bought them all? Do you think that SmartMark Video would put it in a box set?
It's like when my dad got my mom the Eric Clapton box set for Christmas one year. Like it came in like a fancy CD case or I don't know, box, I suppose.
Yeah, we'd have to
fancy art,
get something designed there, I guess. And the other shout out, of course, for sponsors goes to Dive Bar. We will be back at Dive Bar for the after party this week. It's going to be
breaking news.
It's going to be fun and crazy. As everybody knows, there is a lot going on in downtown Cleveland. We will be later on in the day, so that will be a lot of fun. All of that stuff will have cleared out by the time the AIW show is over. We'll get into all of that stuff here momentarily, but we will be back at the Dive Bar this Saturday after the show at the Odeon. And with that, we'll roll into the show. It is a hard sell week, but we transition over into the shout-out segment.
Well, before you get to the shout-out segment,
yeah,
we got to plug the new merch site, AIWmerch.com. Just launched today. Well, yesterday at this point, by the time this comes out. We've been working on that for a few weeks, working with a merchandise vendor, going to see how it goes. But lots of different products available that you, probably 90% of them, you will not see at a live event. Most of them are going to be online exclusive. So check out AIWmerch.com. And, buy something. Yeah, we've been listening to you, the fans. And I will point out that one of the things that we've constantly gotten over the years from fans are lady-specific merchandise items. And you've got that on this website. There are crop top hoodies and T-shirts that you ladies... And there's going to be more stuff as, this continues to grow. Like I said, this is all, uncharted territory for me. And I'm typically like a merch in hand kind of person. But that prevents, a lot of this stuff from being available.
It does. Technical issues over here.
Yeah, I was like, what is that?
It's, I keep bringing up the AIW Instagram. It's fucking Instagram. I gotta never look at this thing again because I go on there to make it easy so I can see all the graphic pictures for the upcoming show and the card, and it's this stupid Reels button. The moment you hit it and it goes into videos.
I always have my volume turned down on my phone at all times.
I usually do, but for some reason I did not there. So there we go. It's turned down now. But check out the merch site. It's Johnny did a great job with that. Some good stuff there.
And I'm working on more. I'm working on more stuff. Like it's crazy because like I've been requesting sample items and different things. There were certain things I wasn't too I wanted to see in person. You know what I mean? Before we started selling it, I'm working on joggers and all sorts of different things that have not become available yet. But put a lot of time into it. A couple different snapback hats, some dad hats, things that normally we would not have available at the show. So we're going to see how this goes. Hopefully it creates a decent revenue stream for us as we head into the new year.
Yeah, there you go, folks. And the important thing there too, because somebody's going to ask, but listen again, the majority of this stuff will not be available at AIW shows. This is the only place to get it. In fact, don't plan on getting any of the stuff at AIW shows, just for a safe bet. So that way people don't ask us, is this particular item available? Just assume that it's not. And then be pleasantly surprised.
That's the benefit of working with a vendor. They're going to have a stock and be able to they're shipping directly to you. It doesn't come to us and then go to you. Mm-hmm. So lots of research was done on this. Like it's been consuming my life probably for the last 4 weeks or so, and we rolled it out a little bit yesterday, and some orders came in, which is nice, and we're gonna see how it goes. But if you want, if you have requests or you want something specific, shoot me an email, jthorne@aiwrestling.com. I'll see if I can work with the vendors and see what we can make happen for you.
There you go, folks. So now we'll transition here into the shout-out segment. And, this week, folks, as we are recording this, the news has broken. Everybody has heard. And our shout-out segment is just going to be short and one person. And that's the Jimmy Rave, who passed away earlier today as we're recording this. So, we've talked about Jimmy Rave on this podcast. Not the world's most perfect human, or we won't obviously pretend to be as anybody. If you really pay attention to people who get into pro wrestling, everybody's kind of got their flaws, and sure, Jimmy had them. But I think as you see the outpouring of posts and emotion from so many people that he worked with throughout the years, you can be a flawed human and still have a tremendously positive impact on so many people, and Jimmy Rave clearly did.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of sad because it's just one of those things that it's just a really sad story. I tweeted something about it. When he wanted to be on, he was just an undeniable performer, that had no ceiling. But, obviously there were, for lack of a better term, issues there. And, the issues kind of followed him around, and he did have that little resurgence around 2016, 2017, which is when we booked him a few times. And, obviously he was great, but, we've discussed, there were some maybe, not so great things happening. at the same time. And, that's just kind of a really tough thing to see. We definitely fell out of touch for the most part. And, I know that there was a lot of, questionable behavior these last few years that I know a lot of people were very rubbed the wrong way about. But, at the end of the day, his body of work inside a wrestling ring is really what people should be talking about and should be remembering about him. Everybody has a flaw or, something they don't want to be remembered. And, Jimmy Rave is no different, no doubt about that. But, the story has come to an end, and I think, Jimmy Rave wants to be remembered for what he did inside, those 4 ring posts and not for, what he did outside of them. And, he will be greatly missed. I think everybody, was hoping for a better end to this story. Absolutely. And that didn't happen this time. But, his work was, especially early in Ring of Honor, NWA Wildside, just phenomenal stuff. And, I feel for, his friends and his family. I know a lot of people in professional wrestling, are greatly affected by this, more so than probably you and I.
Yeah.
But it's always a sad day, especially, when it's somebody that, has worked for AIW. It's just terrible. It's just terrible whenever anything like this happens.
Yeah, absolutely. So, our thoughts are with everybody who is just really reflecting back today and the next several days, weeks, whatever it is, as they kind of come to terms with Jimmy Rave's passing. So we wanted to touch on that. That's it. That's our shout-out segment. Felt like that was deserving, and we leave it there with Jimmy Rave and our condolences to everybody there. As is tough to do. We've talked about it many times on this podcast, John Thorne. We then have to talk about pro wrestling. That's kind of the weirdness of you and I doing this together. We've done it far too many times, but
it does feel like this. That's the thing. It's like wrestling just makes you so much closer to so many tragic stories. Mm-hmm. That is kind of the bad part of wrestling, which we've talked about before. It's just you have this gigantic extended family.
Yeah.
And there's just far too many of these stories over the years. All different circumstances, but they don't get any less sad.
Yeah. But we move over to the good side of pro wrestling, and for everyone that runs in their issues, or not even issues, when there are sad stories, there are a lot of great and good, fun and lighthearted stories, and we get to see some of that this weekend as we go into. We had a few hits. Our show at the Odeon, we will be there. The doors at 6:30. The show is at 7:30. It is in downtown Cleveland. Yes, there is a Cleveland Browns game this Saturday
at 4:30.
At 4:30. So the game will be wrapping up about bell time, if it's not over already at that point. And, we'll do our show, make arrangements. If you are coming down, be aware about parking situations. People park in that general area. There are some options that are a little less expensive if you're willing to walk. I know that for a fact from working down in the area, but get down there earlier. I also would suggest parking those walking distance places too, because people will be trying to leave for the Browns game. But if you can get a ride downtown, that's the way to go. I know we've joked about before. People have talked about AIW shuttle bus maybe from a location, but our students can't drive. Plus, they're very busy on show days, so there is that. But the lighthearted goodness I talk about, John Thorne, is the return of Dylan Swoggle Postel. Here's a guy who, however many months ago, has it been a year? Not quite.
No, it's been about 6 months.
6 months. Wasn't sure if he was going to lace up his shoes again. Left them into the middle of the ring, even though he seems to forget that he did that. And he will be back. We get to see him again after a successful back surgery. He will be at AIW this coming Friday. Saturday. My goodness. I'm so trained to saying Friday. This coming Saturday with All Ego Ethan Page. That's another bright spot in, what pro wrestling can be and can do. Talk about somebody that just deserves all the accolades, all the TV time that he is getting right now. Ethan Page is one of those guys. Just a good, solid person outside the ring. I know he plays a heel right now, but I don't have anything bad to say about him. Do you?
No.
He's one of the really good stories in pro wrestling. You're so happy to see what he's getting right now, in terms of exposure, being on TNT week in and week out, and we get to see All Ego in his Men of the Year attire doing a meet. He will be
doing a meet and greet before before bell time as well as intermission. One thing, before we even jump into the card, It is a hard sell Tuesday.
Yeah.
And listen, I know that we're up against a lot of stuff, but coming out of Hell on Earth and then seeing where the ticket sales are at for this Saturday, you want to talk about getting brought back to reality? Like, holy shit. It's not looking too good for Saturday, but we're going to have a show nonetheless. If you're on the fence, whatever, please encourage you to buy a ticket, come down, Uber, take the Rapid, various forms of transportation. But, we got to get people in the Odeon, I don't want to move the franchise to, the Tadmore Shrine full time or somewhere else, it's these Odeon shows though, through the experimentation seem to always be a harder sell, no matter if we're up against something or not. And, it's really tough to find a home base in Cleveland proper. So, listen, they need people in there. They want to sell alcohol. If we're not putting people in there, it reflects poorly on us, and the relationship could obviously get strained. So we're trying to prevent that as much as possible. We have a schedule there next year, but we have to have people in the crowd for the show. Typically, the stage seating sells out instantly. We still have stage seating available at this time. We still have second row seating available at this time. So, big change from, coming out of 500 plus pre-sold on Black Friday to nowhere, not even 100 pre-sold for the Saturday. So, not trying to doom and gloom it, but we're bringing 2 AEW people in. Hornswoggle's coming back. We have a ladder match. All sorts of things. Potential surprises lined up. There's a lot. There's a lot going on. It is my birthday weekend.
Yeah.
It is Ronald Two Legs' birthday weekend. We're trying to make it a big party, but we need people to come to the party, right?
We do. We need people to come to the party. So people, come to the party, for crying out loud. I know the Goldsteins are going to be at the party. They'll be there. I know Scotty Random is going to be there at the party. So that will all be fun and great, and we'll get to celebrate with them. But we'd love for more of you to be at the party. And then, you mentioned the Rapids, and that's a great thing. We get a lot of people that come from the West Side, and maybe they don't attend the after party. So, but the Rapid is a great tool that I think a lot of our fans don't utilize, and there's one that drops.
How late
you
does it
off
run?
right there.
How late does it run? It runs pretty late, from what
I think so.
remember.
Yeah, and you got to remember these because we stream this stuff. Our shows are well timed out. So that Rapids run, I think maybe until midnight on the weekend. I could be wrong, could be mistaken, but everyone is kind of different, I guess. So, but look into that, I would say, people. Certainly look into that. That's a great tool right there and resource, and it's right there. Pretty sure there's one that drops you right outside the Odeon, I think, if it's in working order. So there you go. Worst case scenario, drops you at Tower City, which is just a few blocks away. You walk down the hill. So plenty of options to get there to the Odeon and to get to downtown Cleveland without having to spend a fortune on parking. And yeah, there's that. So come on out, party.
Yeah, I mean, I think it starts running at like 3:00 in the morning every day.
It could be. I'm trying to kind of look here as we talk, but I'm not good at figuring out how late they go.
Yeah.
I should have asked. They were just into. They just had the RTA office just had their holiday party at our bar this past week. Their holiday luncheon. I should have asked. Oh well. But yeah. So back to the show itself. Everybody's wondering who All Ego Ethan Page was going to take on as he came to AIW, came back to AIW. This is his first time since, I was kind of looking it up, and I really don't remember. Was the last time that we saw Ethan Page at AIW at the Winchester?
Yeah, he's never been in the Odeon.
Does that sound right to you? Okay,
Yeah.
That's what I thought. So he had a Winchester match with Big Twan right before.
So I'm looking.
Twan took on MJF.
So I'm looking, and it looks like the Rapids start running around 4 a.m. every day and run until 1:30 a.m. So I mean, if you're partying real hard, that probably falls right into your wheelhouse. You might just have to, grab a piece of pizza or something and wait it out till about 3 a.m. But it looks like the Rapids run pretty often.
There you go.
RideRTA.com. Check it out.
I'm looking at all these things too.
But yeah, Ethan Page. It's been quite a while since he's been in AIW. He will be releasing some special information on his weekly vlog this Wednesday. So be on the lookout for that as to what this match is all about and why he requested it. So take a look at his vlog this Wednesday to find out a little bit more depth behind this whole thing. And yeah, I mean, looking forward to it. Like I said, there's just so much going on in this show, and I'm not saying I'm stressed out, but I'm a little stressed out about it.
Well, so this is it's fun, interesting stuff here, because people are going to wonder, or people have been wondering who he was going to take on. And people often wonder, how do we come up with certain matches? How did the card get created? And so you're saying this was fully by request from Ethan Page to go one-on-one.
Yeah, this is 100% his request, so he will elaborate on that. I'm not gonna, blow the vlog views for him.
Oh, you'd be in big trouble, pal.
He will elaborate on Wednesday.
Okay, very cool. So there you go, folks. If you want to know why this match is happening, outside of this is like it's a very AIW match anyway. So when he requests this to you,
this was so this was one that was potentially going to happen in Tampa as well. This was one of the ones that was kind of maybe going to happen for our collective show in Tampa before the pandemic and everything. So very AIW match, absolutely.
This is his man. It's just funny the different forms of Ethan Page that we get to see at AIW. We go from this being one of the places that he really took off with his career and got things going. As we've talked about many times on the podcast, we get him then. We get Impact Wrestling, Ethan Page. We get the Karate Man, and now we get Men of the Year, Ethan Page in his dressed to the nines, looking fancy.
I'll be probably pretty honest. Is you're not going to see him back again probably for a long time. This just happened to kind of work out with the scheduling, and it was very close to not working out. So, for those people that kind of took his appearances for granted or think maybe, I'll catch him next time, it's probably not going to be a next time. And if there is, it's going to be a long time from now, So, and same kind of with Swoggle. This was kind of, let's see, how it goes sort of thing. He is coming off of this very crazy back surgery and a lot of questions as far as his future is concerned, but he did feel, if he was going to give it a go, he was going to give it a go here. So, I definitely, was going to, give him that opportunity.
There you go. The other two matches that people are talking about, we just got to get right into them. Let's start Fonzie and Ziggy Heim. If you are a fan of ECW, you will know that this is not Fonzie's first intergender match. And I mean, we've watched them kind of just annoy the hell out of each other for the last several months. And now it all comes to a head. No Matt Justice, no Derek Dillinger at ringside. What are your expectations of what is going to occur here, John Thorne?
Man, I don't even know. I just know that there's been an idea for Fonzie to wrestle for quite some time. It was heading the direction of Fonzie and Wes prior to the pandemic, and kind of that whole thing got buttoned up kind of with the time off and the show that we did in Indiana. So the idea of getting Fonzie in there to mix it up with somebody has always kind of been on the back burner, so to speak, and this thing just kind of it just kind of came together a little organically, based off those two matches that Justice and Derek had, and it just said, hey, it's going this way. Let's just lean into it and let it rip and see what happens.
If folks, if you've never watched the Fonzie and Beulah match, I implore you to seek it out this week. and I'm not. And I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what my expectations are for it, honestly. I just think it is a spectacle, and it can't be missed, right? Like, that's, at least in my mind, it's just like, I got to see what's going to happen. So I'm probably just as intrigued to see how this is going to go as everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, this is there are no rules to this match, I don't believe, right? This is whatever.
I mean, the only rules
goes.
are Justice and Derek are banned from ringside.
Yeah, this is going to be, I don't know what my expectations are either. Chaos? Can I say that? I mean, that's...
Maybe Fonzie's going to chain wrestle and, he's going to show us a thing or two. I don't know. You don't know. I mean, who knows?
You don't know. You're right. We've seen Fonzie do some crazy things in AIW in his tenure here, and we've seen Ziggy do some ridiculous things. Typically, she's getting thrown by Derek when she does a lot of those things. But this will be, man, I don't know. Chaotic is the word for me. That's my expectations. Just pure chaos with this match between Ziggy and Bill Alfonso, and that's all I could say. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. It certainly grabs everybody's curiosity, I think. Right?
I would hope. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the ticket sales say otherwise, but I would hope that this one definitely has people interested.
Yeah, it certainly does. The other one that has people interested, as we talk about feuds, we might as well get into it because we'll talk about it for some time. But it's going to be our main event, and it is the ladder match between the Rip City Shooters and PME for the tag titles. Joshua Bishop, Wes Barkley making up the Rip City Shooters, Philly Marino, of course, PME, Broski 1, Broski 2, still don't know which is which, defending the honor of Matt Cardona, who will not be there at this show. Would love to point out that he was supposed to be, yes, and got pulled by Impact Wrestling for a show or taping, whatever the case may be.
Dixieland, I don't know.
Dixieland, yeah. So he will not be there, which means he won't be in the corner. No idea if the third man shows up for the Shooters, but a ladder match. This is the first ladder match that we've seen since Joey Janela and Tim Donst at Absolution in Mount Carmel. Certainly, it's the first ladder match that we've ever seen at the Odeon.
Yeah, and, I asked Pedro, hey, do you think this is something that could be done? And he has assured me that it can be. So the rest is kind of history, right? I mean, we're gonna see what happens. I think ladder matches are always a little bit intriguing, especially at the independent level. It's not something you're going to see, every single month. So, or there's not a, special pay-per-view or whatever, like it's, strictly going to be a tag team ladder match. I would expect maybe some other items are getting involved, but I'm not going to, specifically brand that. But, right. Like a like a L, what would it be? Like a DLC match, a doors, ladders and chairs. I don't know, DLC, but, trademark it. This is my intellectual property if anybody else uses it. But, yeah, I don't know. We're going to see what happens. Obviously, this has been brewing for quite some time. Maybe this is the end. Maybe there's more to come. You never know. But I think it's very fitting, to give both of these teams a marquee match at the top of the card, and they certainly, all four of them, deserve it.
Yeah, absolutely they do. This feud has been brewing. It's been going for a long time. So you're saying right now, though, even though this is such a huge match, and obviously main event marquee here, but this isn't necessarily signifying the end of this feud, you don't think?
I mean, I don't know. It could go. I think it could go several different directions. I think that's what's so intriguing about it.
Okay.
This could be the end all be all. There could be more to come. I really don't know, to be honest with you. Ladder matches are tough. So I don't know what's going to happen. I wish I had a little bit more pizzazz to put on that, but it's true. You just really don't know how it's going to go and how it's going to turn out. And, there's obviously far more chance for injury and things of that nature to happen here.
Sure.
I know Mike from Sandusky is pretty fucking hot about this match, I'll tell you that. But, there's just a lot of, there's just a lot of potential for a lot to go wrong. And I think that's what's so intriguing about ladder matches from a fan's perspective. There's also a lot of chance for innovation and creativity. So, I'm just interested to see, how these four kind of homegrown talents, approach this kind of new setting and see what they can do.
Have you ever been in a ladder match?
Oh yeah, a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So what's your mindset just going into one of these? Like, can you truly prepare or get yourself into a frame of mind for one, or you?
Well, I just want to point out, I don't think I ever made it past the first rung in a ladder match. Maybe the second. I didn't get too high up. But yeah, I've been super, super early. If you watch some of those early AW matches or shows, there's a couple, I think at least, that I was in, or matches that involved ladders. I mean, it sucks. It hurts. It's, I don't know. Like, I think people are like desensitized to the fact that like these ladders are fiberglass mostly, or, even, the aluminum ones are just turn into just jagged metal to cut you. Mm-hmm. I mean, it sucks. There's absolutely an increased level of fear when, it's been a long, long time since I've been in a ladder match, but there's certainly an increased level of fear, no doubt. Because I just think that, fans have become so desensitized to weapons in wrestling. Like, I think they just think like a ladder is like, whatever. Like, but it sucks. It fucking hurts. It just, there's no real way to prepare for it. And then, when you're putting, that sense of height and falling from higher and all that stuff into everything, there's so much potential to go wrong. It's very, very dangerous. And I don't think ladder matches get the respect that maybe they're due.
Can I ask you about what it means for people to have chemistry when they're in the ring together? You can listen to all sorts of wrestling podcasts and guys who have wrestled before, and they might say they didn't really like each other in real life, but the in-ring chemistry was incredible. And I'm not saying whether these four do or don't like each other, but I think that watching you as a promoter, there are ways that you can go when people have chemistry in terms of the booking, and maybe you book them in a match where there aren't rules because their chemistry is lacking, so there is this element. Is this ladder match, though, more of, hey, these guys have great chemistry, so now where do we go from a regular style match?
Yeah, I don't think they like each other that much, but they certainly have chemistry. It's kind of comparable to like a Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart situation. Like, they certainly aren't the best of friends, when everyone goes out to the bar or whatever afterwards, or they're in the locker room, but they do have tremendous chemistry with each other. And sometimes, from my perspective, it's let's throw kind of a new hurdle there and see how they handle it, see how the chemistry goes. If anybody watched the IWTV show where they, went out and they did a completely different match than they usually do. They did this like kind of wild Memphis brawl, and that's usually not what they do. And I loved it. So my thought is let's give them this ladder match to see what they can come up with and see if the chemistry has no bounds, so to speak.
Okay, yeah, and that's just a curiosity that I have within my head, because these guys clearly do, and they have the great chemistry. And I know people always kind of want to, again, going back to Swoggle and Ethan Page, but we know how that got booked. But people always wonder the thought process behind booking these things and where you go in terms of everything. So love it. Love trying to figure that out. As we look at other matches on this card, and we go all the way back to the AIW New Talent Initiative and talking about guys who have made their way onto AEW. We had big shotty Lee Johnson coming to town, and he's someone who, if you're new to AIW, you don't realize. Maybe you watch him on AEW every week, but he's a guy that we got to see at the New Talent Initiative in Akron. Right
before the pandemic.
Right before the pandemic? Okay, I couldn't remember if it was 2019 or 20.
Yeah, February 2020, right before the pandemic. He signed up and he did the camp, and he was kind of one of the more standout guys that were there that day. And this, was pre AEW and all those opportunities that came for him later. And he's obviously been doing great, since the pandemic, and found his way to AEW and has been in some pretty high profile things. He reached out and said, "Hey, I'm looking to do more." He's still, even though he's a contracted wrestler, looking to kind of expand his knowledge and get different opportunities and wrestle different people and be in front of different crowds, and try to kind of do that old school thing of honing his craft on the road as well. So he reached out, and we were able to come to terms, and he's coming back at least for this show, and we'll see how it goes going forward. But I told him I would certainly give him at least one booking. And I think Riley Rose is another guy that's very much on the rise and could use the experience equally, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so we get to see Riley Rose taking on Lee Johnson this Saturday at the Odeon, and that should make for a really good and fun, interesting match right there. Different styles, certainly, and that'll be. It's a very intriguing matchup. I'm looking forward to that. Riley's still fresh off the comeback trail here, coming back from injury, and what a way to be tested still yet again with someone like Lee Johnson, who is really like Lee to me. Him being on here, and having met him, almost 2 years ago now. He's still a guy who feels like he's gonna have to keep proving himself. Man, he's in a land among big stars, and he's not a name that they all know, but he certainly gets that TV time. And this is shows like this, getting out on the road, like you said, it's still a great way for him to continue to push himself for that growth, and also reach different audiences.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Riley Rose is a guy that's almost there. You know what I mean? Like he's got a great in-ring arsenal. Something just I don't know if it's missing or what. And I don't know if he just needs the big singles match or whatever. So we're gonna try this out as well. I think they have very comparable styles, and I think, hopefully they're going to come out there with something to prove. I think they both have different reasons to prove different things. So, I'm really looking forward to this one. And, that was kind of interesting about, how this card came together. It kind of made some spots available for people that don't necessarily get them all the time, like a Riley Rose.
Yeah. And then, from there was a point in time where we sat here and we said, man, the AIW tag team division is as hot as any single star really at AIW. And we've taken the time, and I think that this show is really a great indicator of how that's been even replenished. I think a lot of the tag teams during that time frame, we don't see them quite as much anymore. We still, of course, see To Infinity and Beyond regularly, but there's this new crop, and of course, we talked about the ladder match, and that's a great match to signify how hot this tag team division is. But there are two more on this card that it's just like, all right, here's these are still going to be a hell of a great time to watch. In 9 to 5 coming back, and they're taking on Bulking Season, and the Bulking Season guys continue to have impressive runs here in 2021 as they really grow as a team and start making a name for themselves in this tag division.
Yeah, and I believe 9 to 5 holds a win over Bulking Season. I could be wrong on that, but I believe so. So yeah, I mean, I just think 9 to 5 I think is great. Obviously a team that has not been able to get on every single show. And I told them that I was going to make more of an effort to try to find something for them and get them on more AIW shows, because I think they have a pretty unique act, and I think the crowd plays along with it, and they're in on it, and that's really what makes a great live wrestling experience, and I think they're great for that. And Bulking Season, obviously they are a team that is on the rise, but also still trying to find their footing and get that experience. And, some things click and some things don't. So I just thought that this was a good opportunity to kind of put these two teams in there again and see what happens.
And then the other side of things, two teams really brand new to the AIW tag team division in 2021. The main event, and then right out of the AIW Academy, members only. And you want to talk about contrasting styles. I mean, the main event, those guys physically are the size that members only thinks they are in their mind.
I mean, the main event are big fucking dudes. Like, I just don't know how these guys are not signed to a contract at this point. I mean, they look like stars. They're sized like stars. I mean, they are very good in the ring. I mean, I just don't know how nobody has offered them something and put them on television, be it AEW, WWE, Impact. They seem like a can't miss team, and I'm booking them as if I don't expect for them to be around that long, to be honest. Mm-hmm. I think that they, like I just said, Bulking Season and different people trying to find their way. I think these guys got it. You know what I mean? They have it all figured out. And it's just kind of a matter of time. I'll be shocked, if they do not get picked up somewhere by somebody. With that said, this is 100% a challenge for members only to see, how can you do outside of the AIW Academy bubble? How can you mesh, work with, persevere, all those things with some, road traveled veterans that are working at an extremely high level right now. And that's 100% the idea behind this match is kind of, feast or famine, sink or swim.
And this is one of those kind of rare matches, in terms of fan reaction. I think the tag team division seems to invoke stronger reactions one way or the other for our wrestlers, as opposed to typically the singles matches. But so this is one of those rare moments where, in terms of wrestling terminology, we're going babyface here. The crowd seems to love all four of these guys.
I mean, really, that's up to the crowd, right? Like,
yeah. Like, who do you root for? I mean, it's
just gonna have to wait and see.
I know it's gonna be fun. It's going to be fun to see. I think they both get that reaction when they come out, but it's gonna be fun to see what that crowd reaction is as this match goes on. Do they stick with the homegrown talent, or do they decide, you know what, we've been in favor of the main event for some time, and we've been wanting them here at AIW, so we were really excited when they got here. Interesting dynamic there. That'll be a lot of fun to watch. There are some other matches on this card. As I talk about interesting, and I used the word chaos earlier in this show, there is a 4-way match that, again, if I could use one word, chaos is what I would describe. You're going to have Filthy Tom Lawler, Levi Everett, Derek Dillinger, and Kaplan all in a ring going against each other.
Yeah, I mean, this is the let's see what happens match, right?
This is vintage AIW booking right here, right?
A lot of just conflicting styles, and let's just throw it all in the pot and stir it up and see what happens.
I mean, the possibilities are endless. They really are. A lot of hard hitting. I feel like that's going to happen. These are 4 dudes that can, man, like pack a real punch. Throw a real clothesline or lariat or whatever you want to call it, folks. Like, all 4 of these guys could take your head off with swinging their arm around.
Yeah, absolutely. I just, when I'm putting the card together and I'm looking at, what's kind of available and how it's taking shape, and this one just seemed real interesting to me.
Yeah, I believe that. Is this, when you are booking the card, so oftentimes you give people the dates ahead of time of our shows. When you come to something like this, is this a moment where, some of the matches start to take shape? We've got a story going, so it's going to be PME and the Rip City Shooters, and then, maybe, okay, so we know we're going to have Fonzie and Ziggy, and maybe there's something else that you really want to make sure you have. Do you start then taking a look at who's going to be here, and then you just say, all right, these 4 guys, this could be weird. Is that how that works?
Kind of, it's like I just kind of move pieces up and down and, around, and sorry, Justin Summers, that was a cough. And I start, just seeing how it takes shape, and, there's different combinations and different things, and I just kept looking at those 4 names and going, man, I just wonder what would happen, and then it just got to the point where I was just like, fuck it, it's gonna happen. So it's happening.
Yeah, I mean, something has to give, because all 4 of these guys really on their own individual hot streaks here in 2021. So we have to see how this year ends for them. Star-making performances throughout the year for Kaplan and Derek. Filthy Tom Lawler is as good as they get. Levi Everett continues to find his stride. So, I mean, literally when push comes to shove, I know it's a figure of speech, but there will be a lot of that in this match. Only one guy is coming out on top in this thing. And I dare say that he is not walking away feeling very good after winning this one.
Yeah, and I mean, I think this is just going to be a down and dirty, just, not going to be a brawl for all, but, just imagine, that sort of, just a fight, really, and I think it's completely different than everything else that's on the card.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then, speaking of two people who've had tremendous strides taken here in 2021, the last match I'm going to mention here, Joslyn Navarro, who is coming off of a win against Riley Rose, and just really, really shown what she has to offer and how much more potential is even still out there for her throughout this entire year. This has really been a great year for Joslyn, I think, in the ring. And she's taking on Chase Oliver, who has had this resurgence and maybe the healthiest he's been since he's been in AIW, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I mean, I think, they're both coming off big wins at Hell on Earth, and, both, I hate to keep saying this cliche, have things to prove, but they do. And, I just thought, I was looking at how things, played out at Hell on Earth, and they both had wins. And I thought, okay, let's put them together. They've both been kind of, in and out of these, four-way scramble matches and different things and, tag matches. And I thought, this is a perfect opportunity to give them a singles against each other and, see what they can do together. I think it's a unique matchup. I think they should work well together, but, there's always that possibility for it not going well. And, that's what makes wrestling great, is because you just don't know, really. You can't predict how things are going to go.
Yeah, absolutely not. I mean, and that's kind of, as we look up and down this card, that's how a lot of things have gone for everybody. I mean, wrestling as a whole, obviously, and especially for us over the last couple of years. But that's a statement that can be put towards anybody on here. And so everything, you said it with that four-way. It's very different than everything else that's going to be on the card. Everything on this card is kind of different from each other. That's what, again, we've talked about it I don't know how many times, but that's what makes AIW unique. I think Ethan Page, Swoggle, is going to be a very fun, I don't know, dare I say, there's probably going to be some silly moments in that matchup. I'm sure that there will be. That's going to be very different from members only and the main event, which is going to be extremely different from Fonzie and Ziggy Heim, which is going to be way different from Joslyn and Chase. And, of course, then we have a ladder match to throw in here. So, up and down, this is a stacked card when it comes to variety in terms of types of wrestling. And I think, again, as we sometimes toot our own horn here, that's certainly what we've done well at AIW over the years, and this is no exception. Will we be streaming live? That's one thing we haven't talked about.
I think so.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that we are on the schedule. I think most of the Odeon events will stream live. I will get an official word on that this week, but 90% positive that we will stream live. So we'll see about that. There'll be an official word on that later in the week, but I would anticipate that's a yes.
All right, there you go. that's the card, folks. Again, so we should be streaming on IWTV, but certainly get your tickets. Come to the Odeon this Saturday, December 18th. Bell time is 7:30. Doors open at 6:30. If you're an AEW fan, you'll have a meet and greet opportunity with All Ego Ethan Page. He will be there. I'm sure Swag will be out there ahead of time.
I mean, I would imagine Lee Johnson would be out there selling merchandise and not in official meet and greet capacity, but
we'll be out there, yeah. So grab them. Tickets, shop.aiwrestling.com. All the information there. Follow us on social media at AI Wrestling. John Thorne, we've got some questions in the Discord if you feel like we got the time to do it.
Yeah, I mean, fuck it. Let's do it.
Hell yeah, let's do it. All right, first one. This is from Reese. And are you familiar with the game Marry, Fuck, Kill, John Thorne?
I mean, I've witnessed it played a few times.
Okay, very simple. We get three options. You got to marry one, fuck one, and kill one. And the options given to us here from Reese are vodka and water, Four Loko, or Molson beer.
Okay.
I don't know my answer.
I think I'm gonna fuck a Four Loko because, I mean, right?
Yeah.
It only makes sense.
Yep, I'm on board.
Lots of strange things during that era of my life when those were available in the original recipe. I'm gonna marry vodka and water because it's old reliable, right? That's that's the foundation of life. Every marriage needs a nice foundation, and I'm gonna kill Molson beer because I don't think in my life, other than being like 19 in Canada and getting a triple X Molson, have I ever sought out a Molson brand beer ever in my life. So I'm gonna kill Molson beer because, I mean, what a random thing. I don't know. Molson beer, no thank you.
Very random. I'm on the same page as you. I think when I was in college, I did have a brief affinity for Molson Ice. I think that was a thing, and that's like,
I mean, that's just
that's I don't know. The ice makes it
ice beers. Ice beers would fuck you up more.
Yeah.
At least that's that was the underage mindset for sure.
Right. There was a little bit more alcohol.
Ice House beer? Remember Ice House beer?
Yeah.
Is that still a beer?
Ice House.
It's
Ice
awful,
House beer.
But
I don't know if it still is, but I think they were like the original 30-pack people. Was Ice House. Nobody was doing the 30-pack.
I remember on my 18th birthday, I snuck into what is now defunct. It was the go-to place at the time, the Panini's in Berea, on a Thursday night, and you had to be 18 to get in, and they wouldn't let me in because I tried to get in before midnight. So I went around back, and they had a little patio, and I climbed up the patio, and I got in, and I was getting those ice houses for $1 on my 18th birthday, and I don't remember what happened, but I wound up getting punched in the face by somebody there. So went to high school the next day with a black eye on my 18th birthday. So not a Molson beer, but a shitty beer story nonetheless.
There you go. Next question: any chance of booking Eugene on his goodbye tour?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if the Eugene thing plays well these days. Nick Dinsmore, was a very talented wrestler, but I don't know. He lives in like North Dakota or somewhere. It's probably a pricey travel bill. So I would say probably not. Right. And I think he's kind of a little outspoken on Twitter, if I remember correctly. So, I mean, I don't know. Would you really want to come see the Eugene farewell tour? I mean, if the answer is yes, for multiple of you, then maybe. But I don't know.
And by multiple, we mean multiple hundred, not like
Like 100,
people.
like 100 of you.
Yeah. Interesting question here from Steve K in the Discord. I think we've kind of talked about it a little bit from time to time on here, but how hard would it be to book long-term storylines if it wasn't for the AIW Academy? Would you be able to at all, given the constantly changing landscape of who's available on the indie scene over the last 12 months?
We've done it in the past, which predates the AIW Academy, but that was also really around a time when not a lot of indie guys were going to many places, and the only thing you really had to worry about is if Gabe was going to pull somebody off your show or Ring of Honor, which, would happen. But, I mean, it's possible, but it's a lot more stable to do it with the homegrown talent. And, I know it's taboo to say, but a lot of this really is somewhat of a Chikara mindset of building from within and, making your students the stars and, working around them and mixing in outside talents and different things. So it certainly makes it a lot less stressful, when, you can have a daily conversation with the talent as opposed to a once a month conversation. Mm-hmm. You never know where people are going, and things have changed dramatically, in the last 6-7 years, which is when, we really started making this transition. But it is certainly possible to do. What I've found myself doing is really, I used to be such a just insane planner of the storylines and the booking. And, now a lot of the times I find myself kind of figuring it out closer to a show or whatever, because, we do have such a deep kind of core local roster at this point, so it's a lot less stressful, I guess, on me, because, especially, when Biggins was here, that stuff would drive us insane. I've talked about the calendar and all the things, trying to work around everybody's dates, and it would really just drive us insane. So now I feel a little bit more comfortable because we do have this great pipeline of talents that the fans accept and certainly hold their own in the ring for the most part. So it's possible, but I feel a lot more comfortable with the kind of home base guys, so to speak.
Sure, yeah, makes complete sense. From Big Dan here in the Discord, I can tell you one of his questions. Dan, go ahead and listen to multiple podcasts. I know people miss it at times, but a popular one, people always want to know some of your most and least favorite shows and matches from AIW. And I know we've talked about that at various points. So we won't touch on that.
Yeah, I mean,
too much.
There's so much of that stuff kind of evaporates from my brain unless it's specifically brought back to my attention. He who shall not be named was texting me trying to push a AIW old school show, and I said, I don't think anybody would care, honestly, and I certainly wouldn't care. I think there's a episode of The Sopranos or something that Tony Soprano says, remember when is the lowest form of conversation. And I don't like relying on going back to the history books. You know what I mean? Like, there's some great stuff back there, but as I just stated in the previous question, there's so much to look forward to in the future with all these new talents. So, I mean, a lot of the bad stuff, I try not to think about. I try to just like purge it honestly from my brain and not dwell on it. And, if there's like a specific question, certainly I could probably elaborate on why it was such a bad day. But I try not to really sit there and, just hold all those things in. And, Biggins was good for remembering every specific bad thing and having like a just hit list in his head. But if there's a certain talent or something that is brought to my attention and I remember like, oh, that person fucked us, that certainly is going to come into play. But I mean, I'm also not going to really dwell on a lot of that bad stuff. I mean, there's plenty of shows that I hated. I mean, to be honest with you, I hate 98% of the shows. I think they can all improve and do better. So, but as soon as it's over, it's like, it's on to the next one. That's kind of the way I think about things.
Yeah. And I think we touched on this recently, but the question's asked, any plans to bring any more Japanese talents in the future, pandemic permitting?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always, it's always something that I'm willing to entertain. And a lot of the times it's, there's things that are brought to us. So, yeah, I'm always kind of open for business, so to speak, as far as that goes, and obviously there's, once it's kind of, on the table, then, I decide like, is it going to work for us that, and then kind of the negotiation happens there. And if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. I'm not actively seeking anybody out currently. I certainly try to catch, any of these New Japan guys when they're over here. We tried like crazy, a couple months ago. So, it's always on the table. It's not something I'm living and dying by, but it's something I'm certainly interested in, if it's the right talent and it makes sense. So, we'll see. I hope, I hope that we're able to, bring some of those guys to Cleveland.
A fun one here. Favorite Christmas present ever? Do you remember?
I mean, I'm going to have to go with, Royal Rumble for Sega Genesis, right? Like that was a good one.
Ooh, yeah, that's good.
The Sega Genesis games certainly stick out from the childhood. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I'm sure I told the story before, but one time I got that Power Rangers licensed Talk Boy, and I was pissed about it. Thought that was for kids. I really wanted that Talk Boy. Home Alone 2. But I was too old to think the Power Rangers were cool, so I threw it on the ground, and my grandma still brings it up every Christmas.
I tell you what, my favorite Christmas present ever, real easy. I was in the 5th grade. It was 1994. It was at my mom and stepdad's house, and we got a little black lab puppy. And,
there you go.
I didn't have a dog over at that house. My parents had been divorced for a few years, and I had a dog at my dad's house. Didn't have one at my mom's, where I spent most of my time, and so got a puppy there. That was a big deal for me. So I loved that.
I had a big black lab when I was a kid. His name was Wally.
Yeah. We had
because my parents
that's a good
my
name.
parents were watching National Lampoon Vacation.
Vacation?
And
Yeah.
they're going to Wally World, and I was saying Wally, so they named the dog Wally.
We had Anheuser. The original plan was to get a second dog, so we would have Anheuser and Bush, but we only ever stuck with Anheuser.
See, the thing about Christmas presents is my birthday is 5 days before Christmas, so a lot of that stuff kind of blends together.
Sure, it overlaps for you, yeah.
And there's a little resentment towards Christmas, you know what I mean? Like a lot of people just sneaking in one gift, you know, for the whole year. So, you know, a little resentful towards it.
Of course, there's a question about whether or not we're going to do another holiday spectacular episode. I'm going
to say no. There's too much drama that came out of it. So
there was way too much drama for the amount of work that we put in. Yeah, it's a no-go. It's a no from me, dog, as Randy Jackson would say. Man, now everybody's humming in here with these questions as we're winding down and done. Any chance doing a show?
One time, while you're reviewing them, one time I also got a Carolina Panthers starter jacket. I distinctly remember that.
Well, that's a interesting one. Were you a big Panthers fan?
It was when they were like an expansion team, and I was just like,
brand new. It was like 95,
I think that looks
96. Yeah.
Think that looks cool. You know?
It did. That was a cool color scheme. Yeah. Thoughts on booking Jeff Hardy or Alberto Del Rio for a show?
Jeff Hardy, yay. Alberto Del Rio, nay.
There you go. Any chance doing a show at the brewery again? I'm guessing that means Goldhorn.
They the contact person changed, and there's a new person there, and like they don't understand, and they said they put like a bunch of pinball machines and stuff in that show space that we used. So I mean, I didn't really push it. They were like, come on down for a meeting, and like they're talking like we're like the person is like obviously like a catering like wedding event person, and they just were not on the same page at all from, you know, the girl that we dealt with previously. So I just kind of like left it at that. I mean, there's always kind of things on the table, you know, we're willing to do stuff, but you know, at this point, I think in Cleveland, it's like, you're going to get your Odeon shows, you're going to get your Winchester shows in Lakewood, which is, you know, pretty much Cleveland. And, you know, I don't know about doing too much more in the area unless it was like moving to a bigger venue and like kind of replacing an Odeon show or something like that. You know, I don't I don't know if we need to, you know, do stuff like that. Maybe like a brewery in like, you know, say Canton or Columbus or a completely different market, I think would be more on the table than, you know, doing a Cleveland brewery place.
All right, last question, and you knew that this was going to pop up because of recent events. Do you see Johnny Gargano coming back to AIW for something at some point?
I would like to invoke my Fifth Amendment privilege at this time.
All right, fair enough. This is not the court of law, but you're welcome to do so. There you go.
Hey, I'm not, we'll just leave it at that, all right?
Leave it at that. Great way to end it. We'll leave it at that with the Fifth Amendment here. The best amendment, if you're going to pick an amendment of the first 10 of the Bill of Rights. And from there, hey, we'll tell you one more time, folks. Get your tickets, shop.aiwrestling.com this Saturday at the Odeon in Cleveland, Ohio. You can also, we believe, watch on Indie Wrestling, IWTV.
Come experience it live, you know?
Come experience it live. It's going to be amazing. You know, and if you are partaking in festivities that are happening in Cleveland earlier in the day, pace yourself. Can I throw that out there? Don't show up and be an asshole. How about that? Right? That's fair.
Right.
Just none of that. You know, Just know what you're getting into. It's going to be a long day. It's going to be a fun day. Just keep it fun, folks. Everybody be cool. And that's it. That's going to do it for us here. So for
Be cool. Like the John Travolta movie with The Rock.
Yeah. That was...
Isn't he in that?
He is, yeah. That's a sequel to Get Shorty. Was Be Cool. In Get Shorty, he was into movies. In Be Cool, he got into the music industry. And The Rock was in that. It's a good flick. I like that one.
Nick Sanka really likes Be Cool.
Yeah, it's a fun movie. Andre 3000 is in that too, dude. Andre and Cedric the Entertainer. Good times. Good time. Hey, for AIW owner John Thorne, my name is Steve Guy, and we will talk to you next week right here on The Card is Going to Change.
Buy those tickets. You're going to want to not miss it. I'm winking right now.